On the Airfix channel a couple of days ago, they were asking us what's your favourite Warbird, and instead of a Spitfire or Mustang, I've gone for a Hispano Buchon. It's always been a favourite of mine, I think, since the Battle of Britain film. A lot of people kind of look down on the Buchon as not a real Messerschmitt, but I'm going to try and convince you that they really are. So the first Messerschmitt 109, it flew in 1935. But the interesting thing about the prototype Messerschmitt, it actually had a Rolls-Royce engine, just like the Buchon. So the first prototype used a Kestrel, Rolls-Royce Kestrel engine, and also it first saw combat in the Spanish Civil War. So there's a real connection with Spain, Messerschmitts, Rolls-Royce. So there's a nice link between the first Messerschmitt and, dare I say, the last Messerschmitt, with Spain and Rolls-Royce. After the Second World War, Spain needed engines to power its fleet of 109s. And the first attempt at this was also built by Hispano Aviation, and they called it the Tripala, which is 3-blade, and it used a Hispano Suiza engine. It wasn't an ideal solution. I think they had a lot of trouble with overheating, and it wasn't as powerful as they were expecting. And after the Second World War in the 1950s, there was arms embargoes on Spain, but after they were lifted, they were able to buy Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, and obviously they fitted those to their fleet of 109s. So it evolved from the Tripala to the Buchon. The only combat service that the Buchon in the Spanish Air Force was in Africa, in the Spanish Sahara during the 1950s and 60s, and they were used for ground attack. So the aircraft is really better known as a movie star. The first film was called The Star of Africa, and the starring role was the Tripala itself, and the 1957 film The Star of Africa is the story of the German ace pilot Hans Joachim Marseille. As you can see, the 109F and the Tripala are incredibly similar. And it's worth watching the film if you're a plane spotter. It's not a bad film, actually, obviously for its time. But really the film that we all, well, I love, I'm sure you out there as well do, is the Battle of Britain film, 1969. So I think this is the Buchon's finest hour, because it played a starring role as the Luftwaffe 109s, and it even played the part of Hurricanes. So there wasn't so many Hurricanes flying in those days. So you have to look carefully for those. They're in the Polish squadron scenes, bringing up the rear. It's also been in the Memphis Belle film, Pearl Harbor, Valkyrie, and even the recent Dunkirk film. So really it's an airshow star. And so this is a 32nd scale model, and it involved a conversion. This is the conversion set. It was recommended use a Hasegawa kit. I couldn't get hold of one, and there's a 32nd scale Revell kit which did the job. So the new parts, resin parts, are the nose propeller blades, and it works along all the panel lines of the 109, and you've got that nice smile on its face before it shoots you down. If you don't want to spend a lot of time and effort doing your conversion, there's a nice special hobby, 72nd scale Buchon. Again, I've painted in the Battle of Britain movie colours. I mean, we all know they look like this, which is Adolf Galland's Battle of Britain 109. And for the film, they added fake cannons on the wings, and also the little struts under the tailplanes. Cannons there, and they also squared off the wingtips just to give it a 109E look. The Tripala was another conversion. This is 48th scale. That's the Hasegawa kit. This one used the new Tamiya G6. Bit of an expensive option once you've bought the resin parts, but they are excellent. This company SBS, their castings are superb, and it gives you something a little bit different. I'm just going to spin that round. You know, I thought it was nice to do one in Spanish colours. I get a little bit carried away with the Battle of Britain movie, so I thought it'd be nice to. The Spanish ones were painted in this lovely blue. Or a silver scheme like this. AZ models have also brought out a range of Buchons. There's one in the blue. Back to my favourite, the movie star, Battle of Britain. And they also do an air show star, which you can make in all sorts of liveries. They give you a really nice transfer sheet for all those film stars and air shows. Those are a look at the parts. Very nice, very crisp. So hopefully I've won you over, and you'll see the Hispano Messerschmitt as a real Messerschmitt. And I think it's, for kickstarting the Warbird industry, I think it deserves a place. And also, the Merlin is the best sounding engine in the world, isn't it? And lastly, the other thing I'd recommend is this book, a Kaguru. Everything is in there that you need to know if you're going to build a Buchon. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and if you fancy building something a little bit different to the usual Luftwaffe, you can go blue, silver, or almost anything you like. It's your model. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I may have won you over.